What up? How's it going? Let me know in the chat what's happening with you and where you're at. Might as well tell us where you're from in the chat. Jack Sprat could eat no fat. His wife could eat no lean. And in betwixt the both, you see, they licked the platter clean. That's what's up. I'm going to clean up a little bit. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you guys are into, what you flew, what you're wanting to, what are you buying for? What are you shopping for? What'd you buy yourself? What do you hope to get this holiday season? It's a whirlwind. I work a lot in this room on this desk, but it ain't planes. It hadn't been planes, man. You guys that get snowed in, you want something to do. It's been pretty fun. It's just a different kind of way to enjoy the thing, you know? I like flying planes, but I don't like noodling with them. I don't really like messing. I mean, I haven't needed to mess with them. And every time you do want to mess with them, it seems to cost you something. I don't know. I do want to work out the big struts on that Carbon ZT28. I just don't want to buy. I want to use the FMS parts if I can. But anyway, it's been easy to do what I've been doing, which is work on trucks a lot, solving a ton of problems, which is really fun for my head on these custom projects. So I apologize, but I don't have a lot to talk about when it comes to the planes. So newbies got questions, you know. I think we need to start figuring out reaction videos or something, you know. I don't know, man. Because I know most of you what you're here for. What a mess I have here. You don't like messing with gyro gains? No. Not so much. Not so much. But man, what a whirlwind it is in here. I was up stupid late last night getting something ready for today. We went out and crawled in the morning, and it was so cold my coffee froze. It was a big deal trying to get ready for it. I've been getting ready for it. That's the thing. You start these things and there's a lot of details, but I think that's probably what the fun part is. I was cutting windows and doing windows and stuff last night till it got so late. I was like, oh yeah, I'm done. RC snowmobile. That sounds kind of fun. I'm more inclined to figure out a plow situation though. for my big SCX6. And also a different body or something. Man, the boys took out their big 21-3 Bills at the half. I think the Bills are going to I predict 49 points for the Bills. And I may want to leave early, go watch that game. Snow games are fun, dude. Snow games are fun. Watched a lot of football yesterday too. We're in Indiana, so Notre Dame beating USC was nice. Smoked them. Michigan won. That was cool. Yeah, except for the end of the game. That was a good one. Yeah, I've seen some RC snowmobiles. I'd like to have a snow machine that functions for me. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I want to do my driveway with it, you know? That's what I need to do. I think I got my first bad motor too, and forever on my crawler I took out today. So I carried it more and I drove it. It's the first time that's happened. And it's a new one. New motor, a new kit. The Pack Rat Willie's wagon job. Go blue. Let's see. We'll start the roll call right now, and if you don't hear your name, you're in the wrong classroom. Huh, just kidding. Still quite a mess. Mike Bird, Jay Woody, Michael Reitza, Frankie NV, Charlie Stonex, Jeff in Lower Alabama, Olson. Let's see. Who else we got in here? I think, is it Tamiya that makes that snowcat, that snow track thing? Eddie K, Mike SSI, Wild Bill, Tim. Somebody said hey to Tim. There's Tim. Tim Smith. Going back in time a little bit. Man, it took it out of me. It was cold this morning, bro. It was a good time, though. Yeah, those guys got their honchos decked out also. It looked awesome. And I got my first run on it. It did good. I already ordered a new motor though, because that one must obviously be something's wrong with it, because it wasn't my batteries. It just wouldn't not go. I recalibrated the throttle and stuff. At least I think I did. The 2-in-1s, I don't know if they act the same, but I suppose I'll try again and find out. But if you don't do it right, you drive the thing off the edge of the table, so you gotta be careful. 12/1/2024. It's like your birthday, man. Like today or tomorrow. Happy birthday, Dad. I'll say it now. Dude's 21. Go figure. Go figure. Yeah, man. Is it it's the second, isn't it? Or is it today? Either way, it's so upon us. Third. 1 and 2 make 3. Okay. Gotcha. Tuesday. What's up, Brian Chambers? Mountain RC? Mountain RC, that's a great question. Yes, I would say that it was. So you guys can blame him in the comments below. Mountain RC asked a great question. Let me post it on the screen with this technology. 69. Holy smokes. What? All right. So the answer to that question is yes. Dad did RC when he was a kid and rockets and stuff a bunch. And then, man, I was grown. I'm 30 something. It's like 2008 or whatever. And I looked at RC planes one time when I was a little kid. And I spent a lot of time, most of my time was with Dad's mom and dad. But I'd get to hang out with him a bunch when they were doing their traveling, and grandpa flew for a living, so they'd be gone a lot, and I'd stay with him. And but we weren't doing RC. We did other stuff though, outside all the time. Played a lot of catch, football, baseball, frisbee, but then yeah, we're both grown up. And 2008, he gets a wing dragon from Art Tech at like Nitro Planes or Banana Hobby or something. And the last time I looked at planes, I was a little kid, and the picture on the box was cool, but I opened the box and I'm like, I don't have a place to build this or an engine or any know-how. We were at different spots in our life. He was doing his thing. He was out of state, and I was still with the grandparents, and my grandfather was amazing, but he wasn't gonna be. I didn't even think about asking him, and I wanted instant gratification. So I looked at an airplane when I was a kid. It was a box of sticks. You had to know how to fix a watch and build a piano and stretch a monocoupe or whatever. And so I said, forget it. And then I'm 30 something, and Dad gets this wing dragon from Art Tech, and all of a sudden, and I hadn't been married long. I needed something to do. What's up, boss? And so I started then in 2008 looking at planes. Dad had a foamy, and I was like, what? It wasn't a whole lot. It was $100, $150 or something for ready to fly. And so I should have got what he had, but I went right for the Warbirds immediately. My first plane was a P-47. Wasn't ready for it at all. But yeah, he is why I did it, because all of a sudden we're really in each other's lives a lot and local to each other, very, very close. And homie had an airplane, and I was like, oh no. So I started shopping. He got the real flight simulator. He had a buddy at work that was flying, and had great advice, told me to get a high wing plane first, and, all the right stuff. And I didn't. Like I said, I went for the Warbird first, the Quan Lee 90% perfect for beginner, 90% pre-assembled garbage trash. And that was it. and we would go flying, and I never had any success for the longest time. 2008. Never had any success really with my stuff at all. But his stuff flew. It was a pusher prop. The Arctec Wing Dragon was a pusher prop stick thing, very much like an Aero Scout is today, but it had like a boom and a plastic pod. And then, oh, Kenny, nice. You didn't use my link though, did you? That's okay. Just send the check to my house. Dude, you're gonna enjoy it. When you're done feeling bad about not using my link, we'll talk if you need any help, man. It's a wonderful machine, and that's the one I was gonna get, but I got fortunate. So yeah, man. I would crash mine on the hand launch, and I would be bummed out and have nothing to fly, and so we would both fly his stuff. And so my first stick time was on that high wing pusher prop deal, and then we got slow sticks. In meantime, we're learning on the simulator as well, but we're still in that mode on the exactly Mountain RC. We're still flying in chase mode and really just having fun with the simulator. I wasn't even flying in fixed position very much yet. But then soon realized that's where I needed to be, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, so we kept going, and that is why I started and why I probably had any success with it also, because it just was not happening for me. And I think Dad was the first one to have a good radio too that was actually reliable, where I was flying. And after I crashed the P47, I scratch built a bunch of stuff using the guts from the first P47, which would have been fine, except the radio was suspect from the beginning always. And so once I finally built up a nice plane, which was a phase 3 P38, formerly EMI, it was like a 43-inch wingspan, and I felt like it was huge, and it was an ARF. I had to put everything together. I did not know what Loctite was yet, and what brand was what. The first plane was Arctec Wing Dragon. Then they came out with a Wing Dragon 2 down the road that wasn't yellow anymore, and it had, I think it might have had ailerons on it, but yeah, that's right. It was 72 megahertz, and it actually was solid. And then you ended up with the DX6 though. But yeah, the Ready to Fly Wing Dragon radio 72 megahertz actually worked, and my 27 megahertz radio did not. And I kept reusing that receiver and radio that I had from the Quan Lee whatever garbage trash, and crashed all the time. What's up, Rick and Roy? P51s are gorgeous. Not a beginner plane, but you can't. There's a reason they keep making them, you know. But yeah, that's it. And then I went nuts. We both built slow sticks, and then I started building the GWS foamies instead of that Quan Lee stuff. And I think the first warbird I really had success with was the P38, but I had the bad radio in it, and it killed it. And I remember when that happened, because I had it. It was my first successful warbird flight, and then we could see, and I had that same junky radio system in it. I didn't know. I was buying planes and just parts instead of radio at the time, and I actually got that thing off the ground, and it was flying good. And you could see, since the flight was good and controlled, you could see when the radio would get hit, and it would just boom, just rock the plane, and you'd get lucky to get your control back. And I'm like, my first success really. And then I was like, well, I'm going to land this, because this isn't gonna work. I got to get a new radio. Yeah, I do, Dad. Um, yeah, we'll talk about that too. So, uh, crashed it. It glitched on the base leg, and there was no recovery. Like, I could recover when it was up cruising and it would get hit, but when I was slowing down, base leg coming into land, it glitched. There was no recovery, so crashed it. And at that point's when I got the DX6i. I was done. And we got gifted a few planes, I think, from his buddy. There was a C-47 that was supposed to be brushed and nickel metal batteries and designed for that. And we set it up for 2200 3S and brushless motors, and it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What made me get into jets, once they started getting good, and I was working for Motion. So we were already doing videos for them, creating the marketing, images they use for the website and marketing, videos. And so Freewing was basically not really new, but new to them and revitalized. Freewing had released planes before, but they were always branded as something else, whoever was selling them at the time. And so when I was there, it was a good idea to just let Freewing be Freewing. And so they had just released the first good full house jets, the F86 and the A6 Intruder. So we did those, and also a bunch of other smaller jets and 4S jets and stuff. And that was my first really experience with them. Mike had been flying some jets, but they were all sounded like super mad hair dryers. They were awful sounding. But the whoosh on the 12 bladed fans, 6S, it was pretty cool. And my first videos, I mean, they represented that product for the longest time, if they don't still, the F86 and the A6 Intruder. And we flew those videos in Muncie. But yeah, that was my first experience with the jets. And then I got to where, so we just we did everything that came along new at that time from them. And then they ended up carrying Horizon products too. So for the longest time, we were doing all the Freewing. Flightline was not yet around. And Horizon stuff for them. And that was cool. And that's when I got, into the jets. Yeah. So Charlie asked about good first plane. I missed it. Aero Scout is my answer to that. Radio Shack, yeah. My first RC was a car, and it sucked. And I put that away too. I was like, Eddie K was a Tiger Moth. Yeah, I was building. The foam just started. So some of the foamies that were around at the time, and they were ARFs, or they'd call them slope glider kits, where you had to put your own power system in them. And but they were EPS, and they were designed to be on a gearbox and stuff. But everything was starting to go lipo and brushless, and so I would get those kits and make them brushless, and they would be way too fast and overpropped for what they were. And but my flight times would be super, super good. And then the EPO foam came along, and so I was building the GWS kit. So after the P-38, the first warbird that I had success with was a GWS T-28, not T-28, T6. And it was probably on the DX6i, 39-inch wingspan. Thought it was huge at the time. took the landing gear off and belly landed it. Didn't know how to slow down for the landing. I think every time I went out, I was breaking props and busting cowl. The cowlings were nothing on the front of those GWS planes, especially if you're flying it heavy, because now it's got 22 lipo stuff in it and a brushless, motor. So, yeah, we didn't have any kids at the time. My wife and I was carrying mail. We were stacking it back. I had money to spend, man, and I was doing it. I was doing it. So we were, we both kind of learned how to fly together. I mean, like I said, he had done it early on, control line and rockets, when he was a kid, and then rediscovered it at the same time I'm discovering it for the first time. And once I got it, though, I got it. And I remember telling Dad I wanted to fly everything. I wanted to fly everything. Once I realized how they had different flight character, I was like, because I had P-40, T-6, Spitfire. I revisited the P-47 and changed the guts in it, and I did my third P-47 actually flew really good. And I mean, it survived. I ended up selling it, so that one survived. I put dedicated aileron servos in it, changed out the radio system. Yeah, I made it work. Excuse me. Man, that's pretty awesome. Kenny got a bamboo, dude. Low wing commander. I was informed if you can find a loading, all the planes are so much easier. Find a loading. I don't know what you mean. So yeah, I mean that's kind of it. What's up, Fred? Hanger rats in the house, man. Mountain RC asked a good question. Dad's birthday, dude, 69. He'll be 69 on the 3rd. Learning from a bottom wing. All the rest is much easier. What crash haunted you or hurt you the most? At the beginning, all of them. Anyone that was a mystery. I got really good at fixing these planes, and we didn't. Dad remembers this. I didn't know what CA was yet. And so I'm fixing stuff with like whatever glue I had. Elmer's, Mod Podge, taking forever to dry. I'm pinning the parts together down on something and wax paper and junk. And then I discovered CA and probably hot glue. And so yeah, like early on, when a crash was a mystery, that was a bummer. And I remember when I was learning and watching other people crash on YouTube, that all the crashes looked similar to me, and realized, Jay Woody, no, I did not. And Jay Woody, and realized that all the crashes looked the same. And so I started digging in. I did start taking like flight lessons for real at that time also. And so I learned a bunch, taking real flight lessons and reading and studying and stuff. And then I read a book on the physics of flight as well, where I learned about all those forces that answered the question as to why do these things always wreck to the left. Like the crashes would always be somebody pulling up too hard, too early, too fast, bleeding off all their speed, and then suplexing it into the ground. Because I wasn't the only one who had access now to way more power than we were used to. And so I noticed that a lot of the crashes looked like that. And once I realized why, it started working out for me, you know? It started working out. And then I would also notice like the Horizon videos. At that time, there were a lot of hand launch warbirds, about 38 inches, like 1.1, size, starting to come out. And if you would watch um, the Park Zone at the time videos, they'd always land them really slow. Like I'm coming in dead stick so fast, way too heavy in the nose, blowing my cows up all the time, right? And then you watch the Horizon video, the Park Zone product, and their nose is up, they're bleeding the speed, and they're landing it right at their feet. Like mine, Dad, you remember I would land and the plane would, if I didn't stuff it in, the plane would um slide in the grass forever because I was coming in dead stick. So I learned a bunch, and then I started getting better. And once I got better, I started flying at the AMA and using wheels on the runway, and retrack started coming around. But when I got into the magazine work, I was finding and funding my own projects to write for in the magazine. And I had sourced a bunch of my own projects. And then I remember, I think the first sponsored magazine write-up was the Wildcat. So I read Butch O'Hare's autobiography, dude, and did that write-up review for Park Pilot magazine from the AMA. And then I got their P-47, the Snorting Bull. It was like retracts and flaps. I was just like over the moon, dude, about it. And so about every 3 months, I did a magazine article, So I kind of knew how nice it was and got experience working with the companies a little bit into the marketing aspect of things. So when I went to YouTube, I already kind of had, in a way, a foot in the door where instead of being a regular old schmo trying to get a free plane or something for a YouTube review, I've been doing these magazine articles in my back pocket. I'm already a published author or whatever and reviewer. And I think that helped. So when I did reach out to companies, they would sometimes send something, and that was cool. Trees were a problem in the beginning for everyone, I think. Oh yeah. Yeah, depth perception and flying the plane instead of being flown by it was something, and Dad and we didn't know. I didn't know. Part of why I think I hurt so much of my stuff was because I never set any timer. We would fly to LVC all the time. I puffed batteries all the time back then because I didn't know, and I was setting them up hot, too big a prop. I would do the prop recommendation in the book, but there was no real whatever motor they were calling for. I was getting a hold of something else, too high a KV. So too high a KV, too big a prop, the 32 amp speed controls were not doing it, not to me anyway, Philip. It is what it is. Is what it is. I've never left once I got in this. And this isn't the kind of business where absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? You're afraid you're going to miss something. So I just never really, even though I've had a lot of chances to kind of take a break, I never have. And yeah, there's no such thing as a free plane because I would work to um obviously blood, sweat, and tears, man. I mean, dude, through 3 kids, 3 house remodels, moving to away from hometown. Yeah, man. And then all the business crap that I put myself into and some of the relationships, that went bad. If I wrote a book, it'd be like the videos, man. I'm not sure there'd be about 30 of you guys that would get it. Who said that? Boss. The Cruel World of RC, a hanger rat's journey. Yeah. The distractions. Yeah, sailors are still at it, man. And then it's a big story, man. I mean, '08, and about a year and a half into my RC experience, I was writing articles. And then 2012 tried YouTube. A lot of late nights, man. A lot of deadlines for free planes, man. I put myself out. So it's been awesome. It's been awesome. And now I'm noodling around, able to do this stuff that some of you don't care. That's fine. Solving these problems in my head, dude. Um, Rain or shine, light or dark, not worrying about a cameraman, not having deadlines. I've mentioned it the last couple streams. The pressure of the deadlines uh, is why videos happened. If it wasn't for the pressure, the steady flow of the projects coming my way, I would. I mean, 3 little kids, man. I would have not made the time. And so, since there's no deadline, I'm not making the time. But I think I have a lot to offer still. And when we get new people pop in the stream or questions, you know what I mean? Like, my opinions are based on more than feeling most of the time. I've got experience with it. And because there only are so many, there's always a lot of kind of new planes or beginner planes, but like you guys are, most of you, beyond the beginner phase now. And so more of a discerning pilot and purchaser of planes. And so we got a lot to talk about. I got experience with a ton of the great ones that have been out there. Um, Not maybe so much a bunch of the newer ones, but Eddie, you asked me something about what was the biggest piece of garbage, I think. I'm certain, been a few. I remember me and Mike tried and tried and tried to get that Dynam 262 up, and it was like a problem every time till he finally got it to operate and not fail. And then we learn how the flight character is. That thing pops up way too fast. Now, the free wing one and the HSD 262 and the little E-flite one fly really good. But they do like their nose loaded up, if you ask me. That's cool, Charlie. Kenny Rogers, what's up, man? S. Bach, yeah. That's great, Mountain RC. Thank you, man. What's up, Victor? Thank you, boss. Yeah, good times. I feel bad because I know I'm not out there getting it. It's not the same. It's not the same, you know. But that's I mean, Why fuss over things you can't control? And dude, I have put myself out. So I'm all right if it's chill right now, you know? I got all this distraction. The luster's not gone, just the game has changed. You know, this influencer business or YouTube of it all, social media happened to us while this was happening. And I might have been one of the first to a whole lot of it. But there's folks that are killing it because you have to, you once you start, you cannot quit feeding the beast. Look, I put up a couple slow-mo landings and touch and goes, and they do amazing, and then you got a world full of them. I mean, it would have happened inevitably, you know, but it's cool, man. The alpha model planes were really good looking back then, but just a little too small for me, and I wasn't really shopping from there at that time, Eddie, but I remember those little alpha planes, they had some good looking ones. They really did. Eddie K wants to know if anybody's ever built one of those old alpha model planes. I remember those, dude. Didn't they have a P-39 or something? They had some weird stuff that looked really good, I thought. Thanks, Dad. 3D printed jets. You had the Alpha MiG-15, Eddie K did? Yeah, did they had some of the jets too. Yeah, it's really changed, and it was weird because the influencer thing, I thought for a minute there, I really was gonna be able to do YouTube only. Because with all the distraction and everything, I always remembered what got me doing this in the first place and what made it stick. It was the videos. It was the videos. It's because I actually have a good time out there doing it no matter what it is. And, yeah. Yeah, so this influencer thing started happening, and you're like, "Okay, well, YouTube money's not really enough on the ad revenue or anything. This commission stuff, should help." And maybe since I'm not doing it for a company anymore, I can make up for what you don't get on, ad money or whatever with the commissions. And 28 3 bills. Thank you, man. And that was cool, for a minute, but when I got it, so did everyone else. And then if whoever shills hardest wins, then it's old. Gets old, man. It does. Y'all are sick of it too. So yeah, it'd be great, but it's not happening. So I think too, there is just so much content out there now, too, you know. 8 videos all released 9 a.m. the same day. Honestly, that was awesome. And here's the thing too about those pre-release videos. Nah, he still has a real job. His real job pays him too good to not. If I was doing what he was doing on YouTube, I wouldn't need a full that would be enough. If I was doing half of what he's doing on YouTube, I would not need I live pretty low key. I would be okay. He's got a big output of funds to operate his life. Nah, that's not what he does. But it'd take a lot. He's able to crank it like he is full time. And people thought I was for the longest time. But yeah, right, doing it at your house with your wife, it's pretty sweet. But yeah, all the videos coming out at the same time. New rules on YouTube. So being able to do the new products was something that was really beneficial and it's good for the channel growth. But it's only sustainable when there's new stuff all the time and you're doing the new stuff all the time. And here's the real bitter truth. When we do a new video, you can't buy it yet. You can pre-order it, so that's just for the hardcore folks. But the hardcore people already saw it hours before you're able to release the video. So you would think the commissions would be amazing on new products. It's not what you think it is, though. It's not as good as you think it is because you can't buy it yet. That's why you see Homeboy Second Thoughts video. What that really means is it's finally available now. It's finally available now. And if I drive people to the link in the description, they can actually buy it now. So, yeah, man. Yeah, there's different factors that come into play and what kind of it really boils down to kind of what kind of niche you have. You know what I mean? I mean, Brian, I'd ask Brian. I'm not sure if that's my mind to tell for him. He travels a lot in his area and does some serious calibrating for big operations. Yeah, right. Said it. The C-17 model developed by Troy McMillan. Is it the new balsa? Is 3D printing the new balsa? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're just heavy is my thing. Nah, he's not a meteorologist. People are working it out, you know what I mean? And there's some guys that have done some really scale work with 3D printers for airplanes. I feel like they're very heavy. Not to say it can't be done or whatnot, but it's like you got to build them as light as you can, you know? Yeah, Fred. That's it. Troy McMillan. I mean, some guys may be working it out, yeah. And I mean, the files need to kind of exist unless you're the CAD guy to design it up in the first place. Then if you're not the CAD guy, then you have to find someone who is. and get their files. Vase mode on the Bamboo X1C. Nice. That's cool to know. That's what I have. That's what I have. And again, the files have to be out there already to consider it, you know? And also size helps mitigate the need for lightweight. You know what I mean? The bigger you can make it, the less some of that matters, but it's got to be strong. Hmm. Nice. CJ7 or C117 is 1.3. I don't really fly gas planes or glow planes. I have had my hands on the sticks of some before. Yeah, I will check that out. Um, I want to remind myself what a C17 is real quick. If it's multi-engines and it's only 51 inches, I don't know if I think it's big enough. Oh yeah. 4 engines, 51 incher. I'd like to see it. It's got to look like a plane for me. You know, I'm not a rivet counter, but man, I love what they're doing with foam for the panel lines and, you know, the scale fidelity. So if they're able to emulate that in the print and it's in the print, then um it runs on 2 or 450 millimeter. Neat. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I mean, that makes sense. You know, I need a lot more filament. And it's actually more filament is what's keeping me from doing I'm not quite ready to tackle the SCX6 new body, whatever I end up deciding to do. So, yeah. I know I'd burn through it on a plane, but that'd be cool. We might check them out. We may check this guy out here in a minute, actually, on the stream. We'll check this dude out. What's up, Axel? Less than one roll. No way. Huh. Thanks, Wild Bill. Yeah, dude, send it to me. I'm gonna grab something to drink. I'll be right back. And then somebody, I want to know that guy's name, Troy McMillan or whatever it is. We'll look him up real quick. We'll check this out. We'll check this out. Yeah, what did I just pick up? I got a new motor because that thing died. Got some stupid stuff on Amazon. There's metal windshield wipers that you can't print them as nice. So I got some of those. Doing the do. Yeah, I didn't make coffee. I had just a little splash of it left. Who's dealing with lake effect snow yet? Let me see if I can. I hope there's caffeine in there. Thanks, Jordan. I'll check it. Let's see, man. What's this dude's name, dude? Huh. All right, man. Let's check this dude out. No, I haven't seen him for a minute. Pretty good, Richard. Pretty good. I'll save it for the end, though. Let's see. Let's look at this dude's planes. All right. I think you guys can see what I'm putting down. Let me see about. That looks like a constellation. DC6. Is that a constellation, dude? A Connie? These are good size. You know what I mean? That looks pretty good, this stuff. Check these out. Dang. That's not a Connie. It looks like one a little bit, but yeah, the tail's different on a Connie. But that's neat. Business jet. Probably one of the easier ones to do at the beginning. First would be something like this: 270mm EDFs. Let's just click into one. Yeah, these are 3D printed. Gosh, it looks fast. Build volume required. So my print bed is 256 or 265. I can't remember. So If your print bed's 200 by 200 or so, you should be all right. It looks like he's doing a fantastic job. No, you're not buying the plane, you're buying the files to print it yourself and the manual, I assume. The printer settings are free, but the files are going to cost you. I wonder what he's doing the retracts. Yeah, I would imagine it's STL. About 120 hours. This is That's what I mean though. Like legit, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like if I wanted this plane, I'd buy a foamy one. 120 hours, dude, that's a lot of printing. That ties up your printer pretty good, you know? But he's done a great job though. I mean, that's the thing I can tell already without even seeing his files. Like, um, the dude has done a great job, it looks like. I wanna see if you guys are okay, cool. It's not drop and print. I'm sure you gotta use, his settings, right? I mean, it makes sense. Usually with when you dump in a STL file, the settings should be there. I mean, it's a good sized bird, dude. That's how it's done, though. Check that out. Little servos. See, I figure that's where you put your weight, dude. Every printer is not the same. You must calibrate yours. I calibrated mine the other day. What Well, the filament itself's not gonna be too much for this if it's only 1 roll or something to make it. I feel like I would be trying to use other, retracts that had suspension, though. If I'm going to do this, I want suspension on my struts. I mean, this guy's nailing it, though. I mean, these are, good. The C17 on 1 roll. No kidding. But this is the kinda guy you want, you know what I mean? He needs a T6. Wow, that wing is skinny. That's good. That's the tail, ain't it? I do build my own bodies for RC cars, other people's files. Yeah, because they don't care how heavy it is. No, this is good stuff though, dude. Flow, XYZ. I mean, if there's call outs to adjust them to, then it can be done. Generally, all the stuff that I'm doing has its own settings. Yeah, I'd like to see this it take a few landings, you know what I mean? See how it does. That's why I would want suspension. If I'm going through the trouble, bro, I want the softest um landing I can get. But yeah, he's done a fantastic job though at the design, without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you're wanting to print one, I think this dude is definitely worth looking at. They're very Marco Roulade is another guy printing stuff. Does he have airplane files for sale too? He shows videos when he wrecks them. Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, you can imagine they'll hold up at the glue before they hold up at some of the plastic, probably. Yeah, look at he's got 4 printers behind him. I mean, he should be proud though. That's fantastic work, without a doubt. Nice nozzles. Um, what filament is he using? Remove. That's nice. He's done a fantastic job, man. I can't say it enough. A fantastic job, and I can tell he's built it to be as light as possible. Color fab? But is it PLA or ABS? What is it? It said PLA. Nice. The thing is fantastic. His dog is unimpressed. Magnet deals. Huh. Neat. Yeah, yeah. You know he does. The info's out there. I mean, he's going to all this trouble to share it, not just make it. He'll have the info out there. Yeah, he said the all up weight was 3.3 kilograms. What is that in real life? These are, I mean, this is the quality of design though and fitment. Yeah, wing spar. Just showed it. This is the these are the kind of files you'd be wanting if you were going to build a plane under 7 pounds. That's not awful. That's not bad at all. Hinges out of TPU. I don't know if I can print TPU. I'll have to check. Oh, nice. Not bad, man. Not bad. Yeah, you don't need big aileron. Whoa. I already don't like that. Almost. I'd legit rather have a servo for everyone, or a different kind of tiller, but it's doable. He's making his own connectors. For me, you know, I spend the time I do have messing with some of these trucks. They don't take the same amount of time. I don't know if I have it to spare. It just take too long to get it done for me. I think it's bad to the bone though. I mean, this is a very nice project. And his designs look really good. I mean, without a doubt. Let's see this thing fly, bro. Let's see this thing. Can I turn it up?
A couple different battery options. I got a larger 4S single pack, and I got a couple dual pack setups I'm going to do. So we're just above 3,300 grams, ready to fly a weight. All right, guys, we're out for the Maiden, take 2. This is what happened earlier this morning. So we didn't get enough speed to take off there. See how the tire melted? It melted the shaft that it's sitting on. It was just trying to take off the brakes on, basically. So we're gonna fix that. So we went back home and I had some aluminum landing gear that I modified to fit into this, and we have them all set up. And now we're gonna go ahead and try to see if it'll work. All right, guys, for the batteries, they can be moved forward or back, and that whole battery tray can actually be shifted forward now. So I have the 2.4S 2200 milliamps in there right now. So let's check the CG. Right where the spar is at is where the CG sits. So right there is the CG. So this is a CRJ 900. I did design it so that you guys can turn it into a 700 if you just take fuselage piece 3 out. Then the front section hooks on the fuselage 4, so you can make this a CRJ 700 if you guys would like to.
That's
I made it
nice.
as a 900 because it's the tail number that I flew actually. So let's take a step to see how it flies.
I think it's a 4S system for each motor. So it's like them being in parallel. So it's more like a 4S 4400 than an 8S 22. I could be wrong. Yeah, you can always find suspension somewhere.
Right down the runway now.
Yeah. Watch them land this thing, dude.
All right, bring it in for landing here. Try flaps 1.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Sweet.
Nice.
Takeoff was a little sketchy. I did a no flap takeoff, so it's got to have a lot of speed to take off without. So I took off no flaps, landed with a little bit of flaps, but we got to play around with a little more. I think flew sweet. This was so much fun to fly. It's a little gusty out here, so unfortunately today we're just going to do one flight for you guys, and then we'll take it out here again, and we'll get you guys some more flight video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next build.
Neat. That's good. That's pretty killer. That's pretty good. That is pretty good, man. I like that you can make that a little bit shorter. But from paying attention to, you know, what good files feel like from some of these trucks, you know, I'm 3D printing. There's 3 of them behind me, 1 in front of me. Most of us average people, if we have a 3D printer, you need to find a guy like that to be able to get the files, unless you know how to do CAD and all that kind of stuff. He's done all that design work, which is the hardest part. What's his channel called? Probably Tony McMillan. Troy. Let's see. Yeah. I'll put it in there, Bill. Copy. Yeah, Troy McMillan, dude's got over 100,000 subs. Neat. He's got a Takano, dude. Sweet. Yeah, check this dude out. It's like Flight Test to me, where it's like, it blows my mind how popular foam core and hot glue is, but it's huge. And then this dude is crushing it with 3D printed planes, crushing it. Being able to design them is an advantage, you know. Yeah, this dude knows what he's doing. If anybody's wanting a 3D print plane, check that dude out and go down that rabbit hole, because I have a feeling anyone else that's doing good work like him will also start to pop up in your feed. 3510 bills, 10 minutes left. What I say, what I guess, 49 points. 10 minutes. That's like 20 minutes in real life. I'm gonna get off of here in about 5 minutes, probably. I would like to go watch the end of it. Nice. Airplane dolly for like a glider or something. Yeah, it gets thin enough where you can almost see through it. Neat. Neat. Huh. Got some leaf spring busted apart and blasted today. That's cool, bro. We got a few minutes left. I ordered what I get today, man. I ordered a new motor and oh yeah, I don't have that email account anymore, so I don't remember what I got. Let me look. If I can see my last order. Okay, yeah. So I have printed off windshield wipers and mirrors and stuff. They're fine, but when you get something like a windshield wiper, if you can get metal, like made out of metal ones, hard to beat. So I ordered a couple sets of metal windshield wipers for 10 scale vehicles for Dad's truck and my Willie's wagon. I got chain and D-rings. I'm going to use the chain for the tailgate on the trimmer's truck. I got a new motor because my Willie's wagon quit the bed. And then I got these magnetic attachments that you can attach to body posts or screw to sidewalls, things like that. And a new Fusion 1800. I'm going to send my 2300 back if I'll try calibrating one more time, but it didn't work the last time. But I want to show you this Willie's truck real quick, dudes. And I've got some okay windshield wipers around here, and I keep stealing parts off of the chimneys. And so I have those windshield wipers, and they're like ABS plastic, so they look really good. But the ones that I printed are, once you make them look good, then they're so small they're a little frail. And there's something about the metal ones which are amazing looking, and then molded ones that just look like they're going to hold up a little better. But the only trouble I've had is with small stuff. Bro. Let me get the light off of it a little so it's not blown out so much. Still got some things to do, but it ran today. So it's got a driver, the head turns, the steering wheel turns. I used the dashboard that came out of my, you're not going to be able to see it, that came out of my, one of my Jimneys, because the Jimny, the Michigan, the FJ40 from FMS come with a steering wheel that moves already. And so I just had to shorten it up to make it work in here. Slightly different color white on the door. Got the styrene molding on there. Bigger tires. I started getting the windows on. Wild Bill, I did the back tire. And I got the 2 windows in the back instead of the 1 now. So this was not set up for 2 windows in the back. But I made a middle piece, and then it's like rubber seal material in there. And what's kind of cool, I haven't done all the windows yet, but the back one there is done, and this back one is done. And now I've glued the roof on. So if I need to, I got to leave one of these windows out, or both of these middle ones out, and I can pop that window out so I can get to the body posts that are holding the back on. And light lenses and everything. And for what I'm going for on bumper, this is as close as I've been. Yeah, I know those 2 front windows slide, and I'm probably not going to do that. Unless I probably won't do that. Where's my other bumpers at? I think it's all right. I think that 2 bumpers okay, because it's close. It's as close as I can get to the real deal without going over. You know what I mean? I think it looks fine, especially because it's an RPM bumper for like a E-Revo that fit in the mounting positions without any mods. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I printed off a tire mount thing. It was like $1, and I printed it off 4 times to get the size right, but got the size right. And those tires that come on the FMS trucks, they're high. They're generic high racks, and I never use them. They're not real bead locks, and I just don't like the compound. But for a spare tire, instead of buying another set of real bead locks and tires, I'm like, that's close enough to looking like a BFG, right? And then I painted the rim silver, and so I'm okay with it. I put out a Facebook post and an Instagram on this afternoon. I still got more to do. There's patina and some things like that. This is my most top heavy rig I have in a way, but you can't be surprised when you look at it. But I love how the guy's just got his hand out the window, one arm on the steering wheel. The chimney dashboard looks super nice in here. You don't see the shock towers. There's a floor. The passenger seat now has been sized up. And there was a couple problems I ran into with the guy and making the servos fit inside him, because I shrunk him down. Instead of 100% that he was 90.24. Now the servo arm and everything needs shifted over. So there was a lot of messing around to get the guy's head to work. And this is not the steering wheel. The CJ7 files for the steering wheel to work, there's a little box on the back that carries the gears that allow this to go. I had to cut off too much of this box and reinvent the wheel completely on where the servo mounted. So I was like, no, I'll use one of my Jimny dashboards because I have 3 of them. I ordered another Jimny probably Thursday night with you guys on the stream. That leaf spring is going under the Travelall. So I'm looking forward to that. And I always do the axle swap on the leaf springs for those Jimny chassis. I'm going to leave it alone and see what I think for once in my life. Yeah. So yeah, this Willys totally modeled after Fabrats, so it's on 4-link and coilovers, completely not scale to what a Willys is, but makes sense to me because I followed a channel that built one on a Ford Super Duty chassis, and it was so not original either. So yeah, I did the math on the tires. I had smaller tires on it, and I liked them. But this is, when I do the math on this truck, it is it's 1/8.6 scale. The tires, when I do the math, are 1/8.2. So I am very, very close on scale, which is so much better than the smaller ones sitting on here. Putting the bigger tires on made me have to cut out the arches a little bit. And I have more. This is a base camp chassis. My Land Rover Defender, their Series 3, is also on the base camp chassis, but I've got everything slammed as low as it can get on the chassis rails itself, and then lowered the shocks also. And I got it dialed. This one, this is as high as I've ever built one. Because I wanted to save as much of the floor as I could, and I was using the CJ7 files repurposed, also knowing where this dude ultimately needs to set in the window. This is what it is. So the floor is about that much higher than the bottom of the chassis rail is. But if I slammed it down all the way, I still have to cut out like crazy at the front and the back for the floor because the chassis rails are not straight. They go up a lot. And so this was the right way to go. This is the right way to go. And it body pins in there. It's magnets on the front. And I'm holding up this big heavy truck from right here on the deal. And all it is a friction fit that is amazing. and 3 hardcore magnets. Friction fit. And a little bit I have to pinch the inner fenders to bring the lid on, which also helps hold it too once it's down. And the V on the front of this truck centers perfectly on the standoff bosses for the winch servo mounts. So this thing is square, it's solid, it's on there good. There's the magnets there. So they help hold the front down. Besides the friction, I cannot wiggle this on the chassis at all. Now I could lift it if I tried hard enough, but these 3 dudes. So I hot glue the magnets on, and then I use like this real opened up gauze tape that my kid uses to wrap his fingers in like lacrosse sticks. I work the tape in around it, and then I CA the tape because that weave pattern on the tape holds the CA really good. So these are hot glued and like CA clothed in. 2 minutes left in the game. So yeah, this thing is dope, dude. Don't get it twisted. 2 different color whites. One on the door is white, a little whiter than the rest of the truck. Faked it pretty good with the back tire. Waiting on my Fab Rat stickers to come in the mail. That'll be like scale to his. And a little more detail, some patina stuff. And that's it. Looking pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Except for having to order a new motor for the first time ever on a crawler. Did I get a bad motor? Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Thanks, Wild Bill. Yeah, I'm going to get, thanks so much. Watch the last couple minutes of the game. Happy birthday, Dad. Thank you guys for coming around. We'll do the Thursday show. Maybe by then I'll have another Jimny that we can take apart immediately. No, man, I'm going to do 4-wheel drive. I'll do 4-wheel drive, leaf sprung on it. But yeah, windows done. Got to finish them. Patina stuff, stickers, mirrors, windshield wipers. A couple little tiny details I want to do. And it'll really finish it off. And I do want to get a good running video of it. Same thing with the trimmer's truck. Got mirrors ready for it. And those metal wipers are going to look killer on it. Game's over. Okay. Is it really? That's fine. What's the score? Monday Night Real Flight at Wild Bill's channel. Check that out. Yeah, check out the Instagram and the Facebook of the truck. My kid was driving, so it's not super smooth, but you get the picture. 3510. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, guys. I'm thinking one of many. At this point, I've missed a game, so I might hang on a minute. If somebody's going to go from RC airplanes into another part of the hobby, even if you don't want to build up a crawler and mess with all the fab work and 3D printing, that's cool. There's really killer ready to runs out there that you can just kind of add on to, upgrade little by little, or not mess with at all. And enjoy. They don't take up a bunch of space. You can run them in your yard or on your wood pile. The runtime on them is so long, unlike a basher where you're going to burn through it, the battery. And with bashers, they're fun, but you break more stuff. Like, we very rarely break anything on these crawlers. You know what I mean? And so for somebody who's going to go from airplanes into surface or something, I think it's not a bad way, to go and get the most out of your time. If you already have 2200 3S, 3200 3S batteries, dude, you run those same packs in your crawlers and get way more time out of it. I'm anxious to get this one done, but I feel like I can't get more of it. Break a side mirror off. I mean, yeah, that's the worst thing that happens. And you don't have to drive it in a way that like, there was things I had this thing doing today. It took a couple rolls and it was fine, by the way. But there was some stuff that I was wanting it to do where I was definitely driving, one-handed, and was there to catch it, if it didn't work out. So there was that. But yeah, mirrors, windshield wipers, the stinking words, and I'm pretty good on this one. I want to get a good video of it though. I need to paint the crates because they're just gray, like make them look like old wood or something. But I really feel the pinch when the weather starts getting nasty, and I really wanted to get, like a week ago, they just won the Onyx Challenge. So that's a very current truck to be doing and trying to post right now. So that makes sense. I got the lights in, but I need to get the auxiliary lights done still. I can't wait to do some more the patina work on this, but that's one thing the mirrors are going to be good for, because some of that patina comes right off of the where the mirrors mount, you know what I mean, to the body and stuff. So these are fairly like the closest I could get, and I'm going to do a little bit more to smooth them up. I've got a couple coats of that silver stuff on there, but they need I don't know about wet sanding, but super fine grit, and paint it again a couple times. And then I think we'll be all right I don't really have an option. These are going to have to glue on. But those are basically the right mirrors, yeah. And then the metal wipers will look nice. That'll set it off and get that stencil work done. And I drew a picture of these. I paused it. So, like I was saying, the lights on this truck in the movie, the bezels are not there. So you see the little tabs where you would adjust it and stuff. But yeah, this is a Jimny chassis with the axle swap, played around with the geometry and the suspension a lot. Got things to center up on the arches the way I wanted it to. And I think for the Travelall, I was going back and forth, putting it on this and, so I know it's pretty good, and the wheelbase should be pretty good. That I designed to be a 13-inch wheelbase, and this truck is a 13-inch wheelbase. Jimny chassis. So the Travelall will not have this ride height. I'll try it on the low, the way it comes first, and consider letting it be a little bit more pedestrian and just kind of see. That's at least what I'm going to start with. Because there's other trucks I don't mind cutting the arches out of and stuff to make them work. But that I don't want to cut on the arches. It's the end of the show, so maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, I'm about to go. I was going to go watch the end of the game, but I didn't. Talking snow. Yeah, kind of ground crew at this point. Yeah, end of the show. So this is the kind of stuff we'll catch up with, talk more about on Thursday. That's kind of what you expect. Hopefully the Jimny's here by then and take it apart and start thinking about that one. As much as I don't need to keep the floor in it, I want to. Because if I can figure that out, that will be nice for moving forward with other ones. Yeah. So I think that would be a good idea. If I can't keep the floor that's on there, then I can repurpose that CJ7 floor again and stretch it out and all that kind of thing on a completely different chassis. Because on the Willys wagon, it was done on a coilover 4-link, but on that, it's going to be leaf sprung. So we'll have to see. But like my other buddies, if I get smart about this, in my mind, I want to be like, okay, this chassis will be good for a whole bunch of different bodies, but it never is. Super unique in a way, the way it's slammed down on something. Honestly, if I was going to do a coilover for the Travelall, I'd be trying to utilize some of those same methods, but this thing's got lights and everything. It's so, even though I can take the body off, it's not worth it, man. So I don't know, man. It'd be cool to think of a way to monopolize the chassis for multiple things, but generally what happens is it's going to stay with the vehicle. All the tweaking I did to make this work and look good, I lowered the shocks 2 positions. I've got more preload in it than I've ever had in anything. It looks right, but it is both this and this are base camp kit builds. Completely different ride height and geometry, though. As low as it can go, looks perfect on the ride height. Almost as high as I can get it. But it needed to be that for the floor, for everything, for clearances. So interesting, to say the least. But you got to think about it. Here I am this is basically a leaf sprung vehicle that should not be very good, that I wanted it to still look like it was riding on leaf springs, but it was on coilovers and it's super capable. This thing is built to be a beast in real life, and that's what I was trying to recreate. So it all makes sense. Now this thing, I've got nothing but what I want to do to it. There's no YouTuber or movie that this comes from. We're just going to see, what I get. And it will probably have different tires on it, but they're going to be that size. Definitely old school trail truck, though. But this is a trail truck that's actually very capable, and surprisingly that it is. It ran today, too, for the first time since I put all the bumpers on it and stuff. And now I know where I need to clearance out the front bumper just a little bit, just to shut up the lugs when I was turning. It sounded like I had a motor system in it. Good stuff. All right. That'll do it. Guys, thanks so much for coming by. Check out, if you're into the truck stuff, be here on Thursday. And check out, follow me on Facebook, right? I don't really post the truck stuff in the Pilots Lounge Facebook group, but as Ryan Ramsey, I do. And of course, Instagram. So those links are all in the distro to those places too. So we'll see you. We're out of here in 5. Hanger rats forever. 3 later. You're too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. Bye now. Check out Wild Bill tomorrow, dudes. Later.